rising, and have come to do him homage.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia,
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of King Herod, behold, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising and have come to do him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was greatly troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Assembling all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it has been written through the prophet, and you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, since from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and ascertained from them the time of the star's appearance. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go, search diligently for the child. When you found him, bring me word, and I too may go and do him homage." After their audience with the king Herod, they set out. And behold, the star that they had seen at its rising preceded them, until it came and stopped over the place where the child was. Well, they were overjoyed at seeing the star, and on entering the house they saw the child with Mary, his mother. They prostrated themselves and did him homage. Then they opened their treasures and offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. My sisters and brothers, the gospel of the Lord. You know, at Christmas time, we had the birth of Jesus told by Luke. We read Luke on Christmas Eve, on Christmas Day, and Luke emphasizes, as I mentioned, the shepherds being the first to discover the Christ child. And the theological message there is that Jesus first spoke to the lowly, the poor, those people who are vulnerable, who often don't get a lot of attention, the shepherds. Luke is good at doing that type of thing. Today, Matthew gets his fill. We get Matthew, and who does he emphasize? The kings. And both of those messages are very important, the shepherds, the kings. Today we get the three kings, wise men who come seeking Jesus. They represent, as the songs we read, or the lyrics from that responsorial psalm, all the nations, especially those nations who are unfamiliar with perhaps Christ. The Gentiles, the non-Jewish people. So those three kings come and they represent all the nations coming to receive and give gifts. So today is a great day for gift giving and gift receiving. You know, the season of gift giving and getting is Christmas and the days after. I hope each of you was able to get a good gift. Think about something that you got that you treasure. What was your favorite gift? It might be a person. Someone told me, all 5 of my children came home for Christmas. That was my gift, Father. I thought, that's beautiful. Some of you may be having a relative or even a new child in your household. What a wonderful gift. Or it might come down to a new PlayStation. I don't know. I mean, that might be just the cat's meow. I got a new Barbie, whatever. You know, whatever your gift was, be grateful for it. Love that gift and know where it came from. Your parents, God, who knows? But it's also equally important, and I think maybe even more fun, to give gifts. How did you feel when you watched somebody open a gift that you took a lot of time to choose or even create? I love that. It's a wonderful thing to see someone open a gift, especially when the gift is from your true love. Who's your true love? Your husband, your wife, your child, your parent, your grandma, your grandpa, a good friend. Someone who loves you truly did send you a gift, whether you realize it or not. I think you do. You came here this morning. That true love would be God. God truly loves you. Yours truly, signed, God. Look what I gave you. It's in a manger. Its name is Jesus. Imagine God's joy seeing us open his gift. This is what an epiphany is. Epiphany is a Greek word meaning appearance or awareness. May each of us have everyday epiphanies. I have a friend who's a sister, a nun. She wrote a book called Everyday Epiphanies. And it talks about how we can be aware every day, 365 days of the year, of those awarenesses that come and sneak up on us. The celebration of God becoming man is what it's all about. My true love sent to me, as that song goes, this Christ child. You know the expression, don't go to someone's house empty-handed? I'm sure you've heard that. Well, these three wise men were men of good manners. They brought something to the Christ child. And you know those three gifts? Somebody asked me, a child last night, what's myrrh, Father? And I said, myrrh is like a perfume, like a resin, and you can put it on yourself. I guess you can rub it on things. It's like a scent of some kind. Myrrh acknowledges, though, the mortality of Jesus, I read, by St. Odilo, because the baby Jesus is going to be mortal. The divine part will be immortal, but he came to be a man, just like you and me. Isn't that interesting? God became flesh, incarnated in a child, a human. Incense, or frankincense, is used to adore special things, like the altar, even people. Even in funerals, we have incense. That mentions God. We're adoring the Godhead, God among us, and we can smell it. Incense has a strong scent. And then there's gold. Gold proclaims Christ's kingship, is the symbol there. A lot of symbolism today. Wonderful day to put a bookend to the Christmas season. And today, as I said, we have Epiphany. But let me talk just quickly about that song, The 12 Days of Christmas. You know, you've heard that song. You know, it's an English Christmas carol. That was its roots. And actually, it was used, though, later by Christians at a time of persecution, especially in England, you know, when it was illegal to be Catholic. And people would sing that song with a double meaning. There were symbols to all those 12 days. So with your patience and interest, I asked Mr. Williams to help me, and the choir can also help us. Can we run through that song, and then I can inform you and educate, actually, all of us, because it was used as a catechetical tool to teach some fundamental principles of our faith, especially for kids. So without further ado, let's find out what all those things mean.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
That was Jesus, because partridges are birds that are willing to sacrifice their lives to protect their young.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves,
The two testaments, Old and New,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
baby Jesus.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens,
These are the 3 theological virtues: faith, hope, and charity.
2 turtle doves,
Old and New Testament,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
Jesus.
On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling
The
birds,
4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
3 French hens,
3 theological virtues: faith, hope, and charity.
2 turtle doves,
Old and New Testament,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
Jesus.
On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings.
This would be the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, also known as the Torah. It would be Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
4 calling birds,
4 Gospels,
3 French hens,
3 theological virtues,
2 turtle doves,
2 testaments,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
1 Jesus.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 geese a-laying,
the 6 days of creation,
5 golden rings,
first 5 books of the Bible,
4 calling
4
birds,
Gospels,
3 French hens,
faith, hope, and charity,
2 turtle doves,
2 testaments,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
1 Jesus.
On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans a-swimming.
There's 7 gifts you get of the Holy Spirit at confirmation, including wisdom and understanding,
6 geese a-laying,
6 days of creation,
5 golden rings,
first 5 books of the Old Testament,
4 calling
4
birds,
Gospels,
3 French hens,
faith, hope, and charity,
2 turtle doves,
Old and New Testament,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
Jesus.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 maids a-milking,
These are 8 Beatitudes,
7 swans a-swimming,
7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, including counsel and fortitude,
6 geese a-laying,
6 days of creation,
5 golden rings,
the Pentateuch, first 5 books of the Bible,
4 calling birds,
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John,
3 French hens,
3 theological virtues,
2 turtle doves,
2 testaments,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
1 Jesus.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 ladies dancing,
There's 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit, including peace and kindness,
8 maids a-milking,
8 Beatitudes,
7 swans a-swimming,
7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, including piety and knowledge,
6 geese a-laying,
6 days of creation,
5 golden rings,
first 5 books of the Old Testament,
4 calling birds,
4 Gospels,
3 French hens,
faith, hope, and charity,
2 turtle doves,
Old and New Testament,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
1 Jesus.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 lords a-leaping,
The 10 Commandments,
9 ladies dancing,
9 fruits of the Holy Spirit, including self-control and faithfulness,
8 maids a-milking,
8 Beatitudes,
7 swans a-swimming,
7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, including understanding and counsel,
6 geese a-laying,
6 days of creation,
5 golden rings,
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy,
4 calling birds,
Matthew,
2 turtle doves,
the Old and New Testament,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
1 Jesus.
On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 pipers piping,
The 11 faithful apostles, I won't list them.
10 lords a-leaping,
10 commandments, you know them.
9 ladies dancing,
9 fruits of the Holy Spirit, including gentleness and long-suffering.
8 maids a-milking,
8 Beatitudes,
7 swans a-swimming,
7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, including fear of the Lord and good counsel.
6 geese a-laying,
6 days of creation,
5 golden rings,
the Pentateuch,
4 calling birds,
4 Gospels,
3 French hens,
3 theological virtues,
2 turtle doves,
2 testaments,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
and 1 Jesus. And here we go, finally, the very end.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 drummers strumming,
There's 12 points of belief in the Apostles' Creed,
11 pipers piping,
11 faithful disciples,
10 lords a-leaping,
the 10 commandments,
9 ladies dancing,
9 fruits of the Holy Spirit, including peace and joy,
8 maids a-milking,
8 Beatitudes,
7 swans a-swimming,
7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, including wisdom and piety,
6 geese a-laying,
6 days of creation,
5 golden rings,
the first 5 books of the Old Testament,
4 calling
those
birds,
4 great Gospels,
3 French hens,
3 theological virtues, faith, hope, and charity,
2 turtle doves,
the 2 testaments,
and a partridge in
Son, Jesus. Thank you. Yay. So the trick now is to remember them all on your car ride home from this Mass. And if anything, the kids will remember the partridge in a pear tree, hopefully, after I said it 12 times. But thank you for listening. It took a little long, but it's worth it, right? Epiphany only comes once a year. We can only do this once a year, so thank you.